Welcome to Synchronicity. Pardon my voice getting over an upper respiratory infection. I don't even know it's an infection. Isn't it all infections? I don't know. It's been a while. I'm sure smoking cigarettes is not helpful, but whatever. Is eating lots of pints of ice cream also not healthy? Maybe. Who knows? TBD. Whatever. Hedonistic phase, wintertime vibes. It is what it is. Anyway, it's been a while back. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff, many different things. One of the things, so if you are not into this, tune out now. Turn off your listening device. We're going to be talking some crypto. Oh, God, I know. It's the Crypto Bro Hour with Noah Lampert. Holy shit, why are we doing it? What's the point? He's just shilling this stuff again. Anyway, whatever. There's many reasons I've elucidated many, if not all of them, why I stay involved with crypto, why I get excited about it, why I do think it represents a massive paradigm shift in terms of how we view resources, money, and the like. And I think that's important. And I maintain that it's important because no matter what your relationship with money is, you most likely have one. Whether that's a toxic relationship, whether it's a loving, harmonious relationship, whether it's an indifferent relationship, whether you completely see through the veil and realize money is just an energetic representation of some higher form of resonance that we use to give and receive, right? Or a manifestation of lack and abundance. And you see through all the BS and what we call money and whatever, dude, it's all cool. But I do think it's fun to talk about. I'm heavily interested in it, as I am heavily invested in it. I've been talking about it and mentioning it on social media and various places, and you can expect me to continue to do that, at least for the next 6 months. I also think, there are these weird periods, these vortexes when, due to Pluto shifting, whatever you want to call it, the stars align and we get this little period where you can actually invest your money in the crypto sphere and get out sizable returns, right? I've been doing this for myself and friends and people I work with for a really long time. I wouldn't have the reputation I have and be able to do the things I've done in this space if it hadn't worked out to some extent. So that's why I talk about it. You can view it as a scam. You can view it as a baser, non-important thing to talk about because it's just about making money and, it's not really about spiritual evolution. To me, the two are clearly intertwined. Is money the most important thing in the world? Absolutely not. Is it going to solve all of your problems? Absolutely not. Is it even going to solve most of your problems? Probably not. Is it going to solve your biggest problems? Probably not. But will it solve some of them, especially related to lack and abundance and potential stressors related to money? Yeah, it will. And then you can scratch one thing off the list that you are focusing on, that you can put your attention to the more pressing questions at hand, right? The issues, the trauma, the abandonment, the distancing, the lack of love, the pushing away, the self-destructive habits, the inability to feel comfortable, whatever it is you got going on in your life, you can then put a little bit more attention that was focused on money towards those things. It's like, did you ever see the Seinfeld where George stops having sex and he gets super smart and he knows all these things, and Jerry does the representation of the head of lettuce and he says, this is the part of your brain that was focused on sleeping with women and sex, and this huge lump over here was, that's what he was focusing on, sex, and this little piece over here was what you were using for your intellect. Right now that you don't have to think about sex all the time, you can start using this huge lump of lettuce and so on and so forth. That's kind of how a lot of us are with money. We put a huge emphasis on our relationship, whether we can pay our bills, whether we can support our lives, whether we can support the lives of other people, whether we can be secure, financially going into the future? These are all important questions that money certainly plays a part in. There are several parts of our astrological chart that deal with money and resources. It's not just confined to one particular area. We have signs that, are directly related to money, like the Taurus side has a lot to do with it. The second house, the entire house, right, has a tremendous amount to do with it, ruled by Taurus, by the way. So there are different places on your chart. I mean, to some extent, the 10th house, right, ruled by Capricorn, can have something to do with money because it typically has to do with career or what you're doing in the world, which often can be tied to resources. So again, these are the reasons, some of the reasons that I think it's worthwhile and valuable to talk about this. Is this going to be the hour where I give you a ton of tips on what hot crypto stocks to buy? Crypto stocks, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Crypto projects to buy? No, not really. I'll mention a couple of things. It's not financial advice. This is not an investment podcast. We do. I always catch when I say do. We do those thingsies over on the Discord, and obviously I work with people privately to help manage their portfolios and so on and so forth. That's where I do that stuff. This is more for the meta take on what is happening, why it's happening, how you potentially can get involved, and what this all means. What does it say about our collective relationship with money and resources? Those are the questions that truly get me excited about crypto. Is making a lot of money also exciting and fun? Yes, but it's fleeting. It doesn't last forever, right? Even if you're in an extremely profitable period, even if you're catching the early stages of a bull run, wink, wink, nod, kind of right now, it doesn't last. It's not going to last forever. Even if you stack up ungodly amounts of money, there comes a point where there's diminishing returns. So the making of the money isn't enough to satiate or keep my interest in this space forever. And I can tell you that that's happened to me. There's a point where, I was running out of stuff to buy and the money just wasn't scratching the itch it had been before. And I realized I'm still kind of interested in this. What is going on? Why? So from a metaphysical or a spiritual standpoint, money has this very key place in our psyche related to security, right? It is an age-old, just since the dawn of man, security has been one of the most important aspects of, areas where our consciousness is focused. On a base level, root chakra level, we're talking about just a survival instinct. How do we stay alive? How do we make sure, we don't get killed by this predator animal out there? How do we make sure we don't die of disease? How do we make sure we're fed? How do we make sure we have a house or resources to make a dwelling, whether it's a house or a hut or whatever it is? How do we make sure there's enough water around us? And then we can start thinking about things like, how do we live more comfortably? What, inventions or tools or devices or, technological advancements can improve our quality of life, right? These are very not base in a pejorative way, but in a way that means these are root things attached to the idea of security. Money has come in and filled an interesting place related to that because we exchange money, right? Which is typically money is received through some type of work or idea or some place where you can inject value into an equation, right? So money has kind of come in and allowed us to purchase or secure various levels of comfort and security. So of course it has become this huge dominant energetic form because that's like a base drive of all human beings, right? Money also has this weird effect related to status and power, right? We inherently can sense almost on a subliminal level that someone who has a lot of money has a lot of power. They have a lot of gravitas. They have a lot of weight to them. If Jeff Bezos was walking down the street and he was just a regular Joe, who had $50,000 a year and, was just a Joe Schmo, no one would pay any attention to him. He's not, a beautiful person. He's not someone who's so abundantly charismatic that he shuts down a room. But because he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, a sense of magic kind of permeates his being. So money is a very mystical force. It can cast kind of glamour spells on those who possess it and those who are around it or perceive it. And so to me, it's a really interesting kind of level of consciousness that we come across. Okay, so the idea of making money or having money come to you or allowing resources in abundance to flow in your life is also a really big thing that we go through in our lives. And again, it doesn't just have to be money, right? This could be love, right? In various people's lives, they're looking for the energy or the resonant frequency of love to enter their lives, to share with a partner, to share with a family, to share with a group of friends, right? This is a huge component of something we as humans strive for, right? Love. Money obviously doesn't buy love. There's prostitutes, but sex and love, I would argue, are similar on a spectrum of energies, but certainly not the same thing. So it doesn't really have this, you can't purchase love in the same way that you can purchase an item or something like that. But there's clearly a relationship between those two things because we care about them. So they're important to many people. So how do we go about getting the money or making the money or allowing the money? To me, and if you've ever, read Neville Goddard or listened to him or Joseph Murphy or any of William Waddles, right? Wallace Waddles, there's, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Many people throughout the ages have recognized that there's a frequency of abundance that you get into either inadvertently or vertently or on purpose. And you kind of start resonating at this place where you start attracting it. And sometimes it feels like you just cannot catch that vibe. I remember 2 years ago, there was a stretch of about 2.5 years where it did not matter. No matter what I did, it felt like I couldn't scratch together enough. I just couldn't get enough. Not like I was making so much and I just didn't have the feeling of, I didn't have enough, right? Have to take out loans, have to go on credit cards, just not possessing the ability to meet ends meet, so to speak. And I tried not every possible, but I tried a lot of different tools and techniques that had worked for me in the past. And at a certain point, it just didn't seem like it was working at all. So I stopped making it such a priority in my life. And sure enough, when you kind of put something like that to the side, it's amazing how the conditions can kind of conspire and become these auspicious situations where all of a sudden, it starts flowing into your life. And that is an important principle related to money. The more you focus on what you don't have, and the more you focus on how you feel like you don't have enough, you perpetuate and create that situation in perpetuity, which can start to feel like this is just how life is. I'm an unlucky person. I'm a poor person. I can't catch a break. I can't do anything right? You can spiral into many different dimensions of kind of darkness and melancholy and depression, but that is just this weird thing about our consciousness. So one of the things that crypto kind of shatters in terms of an illusion is how quickly that can be flipped on its head. I'm big into the judo flips of energy, taking something that's coming towards you with tremendous force, seemingly going to crash into you and push you one way, then using that kinetic energy to kind of flip that person over you. So changing the circumstances and the outcome of the dynamic that was taking place and making it its polar opposite. Very Dao De Ching or I Ching aspect to it, right? When something reaches its maximum level of being its itness, it flips into its polar opposite, right? And that's something that crypto can teach you really quickly, and it's omnidirectional. It's certainly bidirectional both ways. I'd argue omni, but that's a conversation for another time. Anyway, crypto, you can make a lot of money really quickly. You can lose money really quickly. What that does is it kind of pulls out, it unearths your character and your relationship with money. And you can prove to yourself that your mindset, your emotions have a tremendous amount to do with outcome. Your expectation, your desire, your relationship to yourself when your expectations and desires aren't met, all come into crystal clear focus, because it's hard not to when you are doing something that holds some importance in your life. Now, you may be surprised that you have this conception of yourself that you are someone who could not handle losing a ton of money or making a ton of money, that it might fundamentally change you, or you just emotionally aren't prepared or have the resolve to deal with it. You may find, like myself, that is just not actually how it is. I am okay with losses. I can handle wins. I can do it in a way that allows me to kind of not get too sucked in to, the emotional patterns of what are happening when making or losing money, and kind of operate from a different plane where I can still make sound decisions and also make clear decisions over, hopefully, the short, the medium, and the long term. So that's an important thing to talk about, is how the time spent, the hard work invested into doing something to make money is a narrative and system that is crumbling before our eyes. And that's very difficult for a lot of people to deal with, because it makes sense. You put in the hard work, practice makes perfect. You do, put in all this energy. You're kind when doing it. That should be the equation for foolproof success. And I would argue in a lot of ways it is, but with the caveat that it's also possible to achieve results, even better results, by maybe not spending a tremendous amount of time or hard work, right? But maybe, work smarter, not harder, right? Like that type of axiom comes to mind. So that is something that is also revealed, because when we're talking about, potentially, like, I'll give you an example. Okay. And here's a fumble. And I got plenty of these fumbles when it comes to crypto. And you just kind of got to roll with the punches. 7 or 8 months ago, I bought a coin called Giga. I bought it for 2.5 Sol, which at the time was probably like $250 or so. Solana was around like $100, something like that. Bought it, sold it a couple of days later for, 3.2 Sol. So I made like 70, $80. Not a bad trade. Not the greatest, but something. If I would have held on to that original bag of Giga that I bought, sub $200,000 market cap, that same exact amount today would be worth $640 million. Okay, that's 7 months ago. Now, it is very difficult to actually hold a coin through that type of upswing. You would think it would be easy. It feels like it would just be going up forever. But no, it goes up, it goes down. You look like a genius. You look like an idiot. So holding things, like, people think it's so easy and it's so lucky. You will find very quickly neither of the two is true. It can be a very challenging task to actually, maintain your position on this. I also used to have, back in 2017, like 77 million Doge. That's like $24 million right now. I have countless stories of holding things that inevitably would be worth a ton of money, which is a good reason why you always keep a moon bag when selling crypto, because you never know when something's going to come back or just what it will do in the future. Anyway, I bring these up because these are very simple, easy things that I did and had possession of in terms of like the actual digital representations of the tokens. And it would have turned into X amount of dollars, an ungodly amount of money, right? Just crazy. It wasn't 640 million. It was 64 million. I want to be clear about that. I wasn't almost a billionaire. But anyway, the point is that results can happen in very weird and unpredictable ways. And that teaches you that not everything has to follow the same kind of orderly pattern, the pattern of logic and reason of you work hard, you study, you do things, you do well. It's not to say we throw those systems out the window. Of course, it is good to work hard. Ideally, you want to be working hard in a field or area that truly interests and excites you. And I'm not one of these people who's going to tell you only do what you love. It is the most important thing, and you certainly should do what you love. But to sit there and just assume that everyone has the luxury of only doing what they love, sometimes you have to learn about doing something you don't love, if for no other purpose than learning why you don't love it, why you would prefer not to do this, why maybe it is a good idea to start investing in things you care about so you don't have to do that thing. Lessons are everywhere if you allow them to be. It's kind of a take on Jung's statement, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. So is opportunity, right? Opportunity and synchronicity are very much linked, right? Synchronicity, or awareness of synchronicity, can lead to many opportunities related to abundance and love and harmony and joy. So just, pay attention to what's out there. Okay, getting to another point. I'm breezing through this shit. I don't have anything written down, but it is on the top of my head, and have been thinking about it. So I guess the word salad must flow. It's been a few weeks. I'm backed up. It's like you get the benefit of a verbal enema that is coming out. Sorry about that. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite things that has emerged over the past few weeks, and that is my favorite investment at the time, the thing I am most heavily allocated to. This is not financial advice, Fartcoin. If you've seen my Instagram over the past few weeks, you probably have noticed me posting about Fartcoin, to a lesser extent, keyboard cat, love it, but Fartcoin. Now, why have I invested so heavily in something so utterly stupid and ridiculous as something called Fartcoin? I mean, can you think of anything dumber? Is it the stupidest thing? Can you imagine someone in Wall Street managing a serious hedge fund of sophisticated assets that are going to change the world and are, going to globally reset paradigms ranging from environmental progress to business technology improvements, the future of the internet, AI, virtual reality? God, so many amazing things, right? Healthcare, wow. It's serious stuff. And then you got some bullshit called Fartcoin that has gone from $2 million to, what's it at right now? Hold on, let me just check. I think it's worth checking to say what it's at right now. Let's see, Fartcoin, where you at? Fartcoin, where you at? Fartcoin, where you at? Fartcoin is at $541 million market cap. Holy fucking shit. Why is this happening? If you've been on the periphery of crypto over the past 6 months, 7 months, even more, a year, you've noticed that meme coins have taken off at an extraordinary level. And this is something for people who've been paying attention, you could have seen coming. The representation of memes in digital format and them having value attached to them is a natural evolution of how our consciousness works, right? It makes sense that something like Doge, a cute dog, or dog with hat, another dog with a hat on its head, are worth multi-billion dollars. In Doge's case, soon to be $100 billion, right? Why is this happening? It's so stupid. It's so silly. Clearly, this Doge is worth nothing. In the same way people spoke about NFTs, these stupid pictures of a monkey, why are they worth anything? And they were right. Bored Ape Yacht Club is the dumbest thing ever, but they're still worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, many of them. But the reason is that this is a truer and more accurate representation of what our current financial system actually is. It makes no sense. It sounds fancy in a lot of cases. It seemingly should make sense. It's operated and run the world, depending on your stance, to varying levels of success or failure. And it is just how we do stuff. We pay for stuff with our dollars or our rubles or our yen or whatever it is. We pay and we just accept this is how much stuff costs now. Listen, Donald Trump likely won an election primarily based on the fact that people were unhappy with their financial situation. Donald Trump is a lunatic. This is someone who, in other normaler times, wouldn't be able to sniff the White House. His rhetoric, his character. Oh my God, I can hear the people who think I'm just like a Trump lover, just like going, "Why is he so? How he doesn't like Trump now?" I don't give a fuck. I've made this very clear. Yet I still get the comments about I love Trump. You liked me until you heard my political views. What are my political views exactly? Please tell me. Anyway. He likely won in no small part because of financial situations and the economic realities of people's lives. It doesn't make sense, and it's not really something that benefits most people. So the opportunity of investing in some cute animal like Moodang or something like Doge that are just like, oh, I can buy this thing, and if other people buy it, it makes money. Isn't that a Ponzi scheme? Well, yes. How did you know? Aren't stocks Ponzi schemes, betting on the future valuation relative to the product or market fit of a specific business or company? Isn't the dollar essentially a Ponzi scheme, even more so since we went off the gold standard when Nixon took us off it, right? Isn't it all just a Ponzi scheme? I've spoken about how everything is a Ponzi. Right? I've spoken about this. Not even just money things. Just everything is a Ponzi because it's predicated on our belief, our collective and individual belief that systems are real, that these things work, that this is some underlying substance to these things, when in fact there's not. Go to the quantum level. these things that we view as solid and having structure and form on a Newtonian level inherently are nothing but space when you get down to it, right? It's said that you could fit the entire content and mass of the human body if squished together on the head of a pin. These things just they boggle the mind. But what I'm trying to get at is that a more accurate representation of how silly and off the rails our financial system is through meme coins. And meme coins driving a huge section of the crypto sphere. It's not all of it. Sometimes it can feel like all of it. It's not. But, a percentage, 20% or so of the crypto total market cap, which I think is around 4 trillion right now, should hit 10 trillion this cycle, by the way, guys, girls, everything in betweens. Like, Jesus, do you know what that means? $6 trillion more dollars coming into this market. Do you understand what that will do to the prices of these currencies? I don't know if you do. If you do, please just, take advantage as you can. Find the community, wink, wink, Discord, CryptoSing. Find the people who are absolutely trying to help and realize there's enough pie to go around for everyone. Do we all need to make $2 billion? No. Do we all need to make $50 million? No. Should we all be able to make enough to figure out what we want to do in our lives and not have to freak out about money? Yep, totally. Not even a question. So anyway, back to the meme coin sphere and what is going on with Fartcoin is a coin that was created by an AI agent. There is this huge artificial intelligence boom going on in cryptocurrency, which naturally makes a ton of sense. AI is one of the biggest things in tech right now. Look at the price of NVIDIA and the chips it makes that help support the computing power for things like AI in no small part. It's blowing up. It's a buzzword. It's a term. ChatGPT and the other, Gemini and all of these other, sophisticated AI and large language models are just everywhere. And of course, it's going to hit the crypto world. And it did, and it's been happening. AI agents launching on Solana and Ethereum and layer 2 protocols for Ethereum, notably Base, Chain, run by Coinbase, are going absolutely nuts. The sector on a whole is going nuts. And one of these AI agents decided to come up with a coin by itself called Fartcoin. And the whole point of the Fartcoin AI is to make fart jokes. And essentially, it was tasked with creating a successful coin that would be popular and be cool and be funny. And it has done that. And if you truly can understand why Fartcoin will be one of the biggest projects of this cycle, without a doubt, it already is proving this. I've already caught a 50x on this myself. There's going to be 10x's and 20x's to come, for sure, even at 500 million. If you can understand that the mimetic power of farting and fart coins, and when you fart, you think of Fartcoin, and people being able to say to their friends, hey, I'm a Fartcoin millionaire. I've made $1 million plus on Fartcoin. Hey, I turned, $5,000 into $50,000 on Fartcoin. When you understand how that will propagate through the financial world and culture at large, you will understand why Fartcoin is going to be a banger of all bangers. For real. And it's silly and it's stupid. And there's something called left curving it when it comes to investing, right? Left curve is the stupid person who has bashed their head in with a brick, who's drooling, who knows nothing, goes, duh, I like Fartcoin, right? That's the person. Then on the right side of the bell curve, you have the super saiyan geniuses, just so smart they know everything. And they go, oh, I have done the technical analysis and I too like Fartcoin. All right, those are the geniuses and the idiots. And then you have the people in the middle going, no, this is not right. Something called Fartcoin cannot be successful. There's no underlying value between it. I myself, sir, find myself in the stock market of the United States of America. I work in New York downtown, and I can tell you these stocks that we're invested in are blue chips. Things like this are going to go nuts. We're never wrong. We always are right. And Fartcoin, it's just a stupid name and a stupid thing. That's everyone in the middle. That's the majority of people. Right? Not that everyone works on Wall Street, but that's the majority of people. That's a lot of people's reaction to Fartcoin. Let's see what happens. I mean, it's already happened. I have all of the people around me in my orbit invested in Fartcoin. All of them have made money to this point. All of them are up many multiples, and this is just the beginning. And it's not about should you go out and buy Fartcoin. It's not about should you listen to me because I've been doing this for a long time and I think I know what the answers are. It's about understanding the climate of where we are as a society and a culture, and understand that things are getting weirder and funnier and stupider and cooler and better and worse all at the same time. And if you can play that game, if you can get into the energy of Fartcoin, if you can get into the energy of everything being absolutely ridiculous, you will prosper and you will have fun while doing so. And to me, that is what the best timeline is about, right? It's not about specifically focusing on every intricacy of how your perfect utopia will function. It's finding yourself in a place that feels so utterly comfortable and fun and ridiculous and silly and tragic and serious and all of those things, but enjoying yourself through the process. That's about as close to utopia as you will get on this planet of duality, which it also incorporates things like death and dying and sickness and illness, right? All of these things exist. Wouldn't you want to have a little Fartcoin along the way? Wouldn't you want to understand that you can invest in silly things and still make money? There's also really interesting coins on Solana. I was invested. I do not have a large position, that are called the Astrofolio. Coins down in Solana that are all of the zodiac signs, right? Going from every single one. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. You get it. You understand them all. We're not going to do the whole zodiac. But basically, these are coins that represent astrological signs. Those are going up. There is going to be a coin, a tokenized version of almost everything you can think of. I had this idea. I tweeted it out like 4 or 5 years ago that soon celebrities would have their own coins. And of course that's happening. And of course a lot of these things are scams. The Hawk Tua girl just ran one of the worst scams I've seen, or at least her team did, where the tokenomics of the coin she released were so utterly terrible and so clearly a cash grab and a rug pull that, and you're doing this on an immutable blockchain. It's there for everyone to see. But this is inevitable that this is going to happen. When you cross that with just kind of the deregulatory nature that's coming in by the next administration in the United States, it's not hard to see why this is kind of setting up to be an unprecedented boom when it comes to crypto. We have the president and other countries talking about setting up strategic Bitcoin reserves. So they're not going to miss the boat. They're not going to say, hey, we don't have any Bitcoin. They're going to start buying Bitcoin. And who knows what they'll do. Germany sold a shitload of Bitcoin at $50,000. They're probably regretting that now, even though it was found money worth hundreds of millions. It's worth twice as much right now. So the point is there's so much opportunity right now. We don't get this cycle of opportunity. It doesn't come around that often. We'll probably get another. In my life, I'm 41. Let's say I live another 40 years. 8 more cycles. It's plenty of time, guys. But there's not going to be, it won't be a nascent new thing much longer. Maybe 2 more cycles max before it's just like a part of our lives. And that's the dream of every kind of crypto bro, everyone out there. But it is happening. More people are aware of this. There's applications now that make it easier than ever to buy things like Fartcoin. In fact, I'll put my referral for Moonshot in so you can get reduced fees if you choose to buy it there in the comments of this podcast. But basically, like, it's getting more accessible. It's fun. If you understand the kind of silliness but spiritual validity of what crypto is about, it's just like I love it. It's just genuinely interesting and fun to me. I don't love losing money, but I can deal with it. And, I think for that reason, I have done consistently well over the years, and to the point where it's changed my life in dramatic ways, most positive, some more revelatory, and led to realizations that I probably wouldn't have come to if I hadn't got to a point where, money, I couldn't blame or look at money as being any type of bad thing in my life, to a level. But it wasn't like I was spending so much time thinking about money problems. I wasn't at all. And yet still there were issues, lo and behold. It's inconvenient when you can no longer blame something for being the source of your troubles or being a major component or factor in your troubles. It's so annoying. Let me blame the shit that clearly has nothing to do with why, this issue is popping up. It's lame. And then the last thing I'll say about Fartcoin, just because I think it's important, it truly does remind me of Bitcoin, like around 2013, which is when I got into Bitcoin. There's a certain subset of people or class of people who, when they hear it, just get enraged. It bothers them so much that this exists and it has value and people are buying it and making money off it. It angers them so much. And the same way with Bitcoin, a lot of these projects like that, the quality of the attention matters not. If it's positive, if it's negative, if it's neutral, if it's being mentioned, the awareness and mind share, percentage of mind share increases. And that leads to an increase in the price, and it leads to an increase in the exposure, and it's this kind of flywheel of attention and price growth. And that was my original thesis with Bitcoin. It was truly, if you boil it down, outside of all the technical features of it and esoteric ideas related to cryptocurrency, it's that it'll be talked about more. As there's more exposure, the price will go up. That's what you look for in a coin. So the ones that are divisive, to a point within reason, not just the trolling, will do well over time. Just try to remember that. And I think that's another, big reason why Fartcoin is going to continue its reign of dominance. And, I'd have to my reputation is worth something to me. It's not meaningless. If I'm going around investing myself, telling other people to invest in things or advising them, speaking about it publicly, I don't want to look like an idiot. So imagine I have some level of conviction that this is a decent idea or play. You get the gist of it. All right. I think I covered most of what I want to cover. I did spend almost 40 minutes talking about Fartcoin and cryptocurrency. Sorry about that. Oh, I had some other stuff. For the people who stuck around, you'll actually get, content somewhat related to what this show is about. A few things have come up that my 3-year-old has said over the past few weeks that are just there's a magic quality to a child that young who's able to vocalize his thoughts and observations. And he said he developed this thing called a Joyhug, which is just a hug, but it's a very happy hug. It's a normal hug, but it reflects and embodies the quality of joy. And I think that's kind of what we should be striving for in our lives. Are we able to give ourselves and life, I know this sounds corny as fuck, but are we able to give ourselves a joy hug? There is an innocence and purity into the way a 3-year-old, specifically Aslan, spoke about this that really clicked for me. I'm oh, of course we should be doling out joy hugs all the time. What are we doing? Why are we wasting this amazing ability we have? And why can't we set our compasses in the direction of a joy hug? That's really what we're trying to do. If you can combine that quality or perspective on life with doing things that interest you, with people who you care about, with people you actually enjoy spending time with, well, then you're on to something. Then it's you're really doing something here. It's not just kind of getting through it. It's not slogging through another day. It's not, just trying to survive, right? Getting stuck in base level root chakra. You're at least moving up to the heart chakra with the joy hug. You're at least going up there to Anahata, right? The 4th chakra. Is it the 4th? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 4th chakra. Makes sense to me that you'd want to be resonating around that level. Then you can start moving up the chain, moving up the spinning wheel chain of chakras, right? That's pretty cool. You then can get to these spiritual planes that are above our regular sensory and kind of meta consciousness makeups or auras. That's when crypto gets really interesting, when you start doing it from that place. Anyway, everything does. It's like, in Half Baked, when Jon Stewart's talking about weed, it's like, you ever looked at the back of a $20 bill on weed? It's like, yeah. Have you ever, experienced living your life from a special evolutionary consciousness resonance point? That's the equivalent. Really poorly constructed analogy, I gotta say. That's like top 5 bad analogies I just tried to pull off there. Anyway, I was thinking about Half Baked. I've a podcast recommendation if you're into comedy stuff. Harland Williams' podcast, The Harlan Highway. So fucking good. It's pretty much all I've been listening to in the podcast world for the past few weeks or so, especially when traveling. It's so good. He's so funny. He's so unique, so cool. I bring it up because he's in Half Baked too. Anyway, that's it. Geez Louise, almost forgot. Christ Consciousness readings are open. They've been open for patrons. Even the free version of Patreon, there is a free version. If you sign up for that, you will get those announcements before people who only listen to this podcast. Those are open for everyone now. There are not a lot of slots, I'll be honest. Like, I'm only doing these the next few weeks, starting next week, before the end of the year. And I only have so many spots this year. A lot going on. So that's not like a sales technique. It's just there's not as many spots. So if you're the type of person, I know we get a lot of repeat people doing those Christ consciousness readings. Sign up, secure your spot, because I don't want you to have to miss out. And it is something that I only do for a very specific period of time, because I think like that's when the energy is in the air. And then finally, if any of this crypto stuff made sense to you, but you really don't know what to do, I offer a variety of things to help you. Truthfully, like, I stand on all of these things, with the most possible integrity I can muster for this. The course is available. That course price right now is Crypto Consciousness, or Conscious Crypto, it's called. It's $269 right now. Once January rolls around, that's going to go back to $333. There will be an additional module talking about things like Fartcoin and stuff like that, and I'll run up the live streams again in the coming weeks, if not the beginning of the year. That's the base thing you can start with. If you need more help, I offer consulting services ranging from how to get things set up, how to get technically set up, where to focus, what tools and apps and software to use, ranging from full crypto portfolio management. Right. And that really spans the gamut in terms of what I'm doing with people there. I have limited spots for that. I will say, if you were if we're going to do portfolio management stuff, it's typically percentage based off of trades made. But there are, we can do monthly arrangements. But this is for people truly with at least $50,000 worth investing. This is not money that you have for other shit. This is for investing. This is not your rent money. This is not loan money. Even though I've taken out loans to buy crypto before, you don't do that. So this is what that's for. And it's for, serious people. I posted it before, and it's true. And we're actually about to pass that. I've worked with people over the past 2 cycles, a little before that, but really the last 2 cycles. And, cumulative profit is just about $5 million in that period of time from the people I've worked with. So I do take it seriously. We have fun. Hopefully you learn something from it. The idea is to teach you how to fish as much as it is to catch fish for you. But if that's something you are interested in, message me privately. You can send me an email, noah@syncpodcast.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. Just get in touch and we can go from there to see if we're a good fit. I really only work with people who I can sense have the right attitude going into this. In the early days, I remember working with some people who the first time there was a trade and it didn't immediately go up, they lost their shit. I'm like, okay, we're not going to work together anymore. This is not working out for me. Of course, that trade went up 5 times in the next 2 weeks. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. We're good. It's not worth it for me. All right. So that's it for this week. Live stream next week for the patrons. We will do some crypto stuff there. I'm going to be yakking about the crypto until I feel like I've yelled at you guys enough that you actually do something about it. I've had to do this with my own family members and friends. And then they're like, oh, shit. I wish I would have done this before. It's like, yeah, I know. I understand. That's why I'm fucking yelling about it nonstop. All right. All right, guys. Love you. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.